Hi, this is Bill Varney from Your Saltwater Guide with your game plan fish report for Thursday, November 21st. Okay, we have had some kind of change in the last week. The water conditions have really changed with these winds we had over the weekend. They were obviously most strong offshore, strong up north in the Santa Barbara, Ventura County area, and then of course worked their way south all the way along the coast. They churned up the water, they brought out a lot of kelp, and it really reduced the fishing and of course reduced the reports for us. But starting up in Santa Barbara, we first want to thank Ben at Hook, Line and Sinker on Cali Real, Upper State Street area at the tackle shop there. Hook, Line and Sinker for his information every week. Really appreciate that. So up in Santa Barbara, once again, we had those wind conditions. We had that water turnover. If you're looking at the water over the weekend at places like Carpinteria, it looked like chocolate milk down there. And of course, there was a lot of kelp and eelgrass and so forth in the water. So only kind of the areas in Santa Barbara that are protected turned out to be the spots that were producing any fish last weekend. Just below El Capitan, right in the El Capitan camping area, was decent halibut fishing in there with a couple of legal fish caught up there on Battlestar hard baits, Lucky Craft hard baits, and swim baits. A lot of times white flukes in that area will work very well. From there all the way down past Carpinteria, it was very quiet because the immense amount of wind. But when you got below there, when you got to La Conchita, and of course I was thinking about wood because of all of the wood that washes up on the beach at Carpinteria and sometimes clogs up the fishing. But down at La Conchita, which is below Rincon there, some very good perch fishing in that area. The perch went particularly big. They were in the 6 to 9 inch realm, but there were lots and lots of perch down in that area. And then down in Ventura, as expected, we had talked about this last week, that full moon most likely led to the catching of several striper along the Ventura river mouth. And those stripers, once again, they were caught on a couple of different things. The Battlestar, Lucky Craft hard baits, those worked, and also cut anchovy on the dropper loop was working down in that area. So once again, we saw that on the full moon. I think we're again next month, we'll see that again on all of these river mouths along the California coast. We're going to see those stripers out there feeding during those full moon periods, and that's both during the day and at night. They feed a lot at night there. So keep your eye out from that. If you have any river mouth near your area, be sure to fish those areas at those super high tides that we're going to find at those full moon periods of time. Stripers love to feed them. And then if we make our way down to Malibu, that's really kind of where the big news has been. One of the main reasons is that all the way from El Matador all the way up the coast. In that zone, it's like El Matador to Ventura County line. But essentially from there all the way up the coast, I would say northern Ventura, all the way to the Hollister Ranch, there is squid all along that area. Just offshore, particularly that area down by Leo Carrillo Beach, there are dozens, if not 100 light boats out there in the afternoons and at night getting squid. So all of that squid, obviously that's pulling in a lot of fish. It might be pulling some of the fish off the beach. That's a possibility. But the bigger possibility is there's quite a bit of squid there for white sea bass. That whole area along there has the possibility of white sea bass in the surf, particularly on these hard baits. Unfortunately, one of the greatest spots of all times, Big Dune, Little Dune, is closed. That's an MPA area and a closure area. But back in the day, that was one of the best this time of year, one of the very best white sea bass spots to fish from the beach. And I believe that's right in the area where the world record white sea bass was speared. And the fella who speared that also said in an interview that he saw one that day, white sea bass, that may have been over 120 pounds. So that's always been a great area that will continue to be good. And so what we're seeing up in that Malibu area, and in particular, the Broome Thornhill area, the Point Magoo, Leo Carrillo, it's been some very good perch fishing. A lot of those perch have been caught at low tide. Or low filling into a higher tide, and anglers have been using worms, lugworms, bloodworms, mussel and clams. Those have all been working. And then some of the biggest perch have been caught on hard baits, have been caught on the Battlestar and Lucky Craft baits that have been fished right on those edges of where the rocks meet the sand. So Malibu remains good. I think it's going to continue to be good because it's really shielded by these big swells and doesn't have as big of a water turnover as we're going to find in other areas. So the Malibu zone continues to be good. And then when we make our way down to the South Bay, there wasn't a lot of reports from the South Bay. Remember, the South Bay faces directly west. So when that big west swell and all that northwest wind came in last week, that really hurt that area. Another thing that hurt the area for sure, and boy, this would get your attention, was the severed head that floated ashore at Torrance Beach and then was followed later in the day by the body. Now they found that that was a homeless person under the Redondo Pier living there who was shot in the face by somebody else. So just beware when you go down to the beach that you really got to watch your back and keep your eye open to what's going on around you. Other than that, the Hermosa and Manhattan area was kicking out some yellowfin croaker before and after the wind, and once again a bunch of those small perch. I think we'll see that come back probably over the next week or two. We're going to get a swell, a pretty big swell, from the south that's coming all the way up from Antarctica, and that is going to push some warm water beginning Monday of next week up north, and if nothing else, it will mitigate the water temperature here in the California Bight. Down in Orange County, completely blown out, chocolatey water. It was really quite slow down there. Had a few reports of some decent perch fishing, some little bigger perch around the Newport Jetty areas, and once again, lugworms and bloodworms worked really well for that. Over the past couple days, we've had some beautiful weather down there. That will continue for a day or two, and then coming into this weekend, we're going to have a storm come down the coast. There's a lot of debate over how big that storm's going to be and how much rain it's going to drop and how much wind there's going to be. But look for, today and tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, to have some good fishing there and then slow down over the weekend. And then San Diego, once again, not a lot of reports out of San Diego, but the two things that we had a couple of good reports 2 days ago in San Diego at Del Mar. We had a great report of one angler, just absolutely wide open perch fishing, 10 perch in an hour. They were all the small palm-sized ones. But he also got a nice sized leopard shark in the surf, which are fun to catch. And then in addition to that, he got about an 18-inch Corbina. All of those were on bloodworms. So bloodworms are really good bait to use down there. You can find them at in Oceanside at Pacific Coast Bait and Tackle. Often we'll have them. Sometimes Seaforth Landing has them, along with Ghost Shrimp. Those are a couple of good places to go to find bait down there. But other than that, San Diego's been pretty slow. And then, of course, once again, we heard this week of another angler getting several striper in the back bays of San Diego Harbor. That will continue. We're going to see those stripers throughout the winter. And when we have a combination of some of this rain with that fresh water coming out of the estuaries into the ocean, I think we'll see those striper turn on even more over the next 2 or 3 months. And, of course, there's some really big striper out there. Those fish are anywhere in the range now from 25 to 60 inches, and I think over the next couple of months we might see some really big ones come into shore. So that's the surf fishing report for this week. I want to thank everybody for watching, and good luck out on the beach. I'll see you down there. Thank you for watching our surf fishing report. To learn more about surf fishing, go to yoursaltwaterguide.com, where you'll find videos, dozens of articles, and our weekly surf fishing game plan to help make you a better angler on the beach. Once again, yoursaltwaterguide.com. Thank you so much for watching.